मोहंधकार हरणु विषयोन्मुखानां स्नेहामृत आसनरतो निजसेवकानां निर्भासको निखिलो जुगमहापथानां दिदीपति भुवि गदाधर धर्मदीपः पापाटविप्रदायेन भूतभूकसमानं महान्धकारदलने हरिताश्वकल्पं सन्तापनाशनविधौ शरदिन्दुतुल्यं ज्योतिष्यकास्ति किमपि क्षुदिरामगेहि. The light of Dharma, known as Ramakrishna, shines in this world, removing the darkness of ignorance in worldly-minded people, absorbing the oil of love provided by his close attendants, and illumining all the great paths of spiritual fulfillment, known as the yogas. Ramakrishna shines like a blazing light in the house of Kshudirama, like a fire in burning up the forest of sin, like the sun in dispelling the darkness of ignorance, like the autumnal moon in abating the heat of suffering in men. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. This morning our subject is Ramakrishna, a wish-fulfilling tree. It is our anniversary service. Before I talk to you the main subject, I shall tell you in brief the difference between God and man, according to Vedantic tradition. In essence, both are same. Same consciousness is in God, same consciousness is in human beings. But we give some example. The space which is in the jar, the space which is in the room, and the vast outer space, as a space, all are the same. The moment we remove the barriers, the jar space and the room space become one with that cosmic space. So this individual consciousness of a man or a woman is one with that cosmic consciousness when you remove the attributes, when you remove the barrier, when you remove the limitation, that is body, mind, organism. Now, from the relative standpoint, we find God is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, but human beings do not have that type of qualities. God is unselfish and desireless. Human beings have desires. Many of them are selfish. God is a master of Maya. Human beings are subject to Maya, are slave to Maya. God creates, preserves, and dissolves. He is the ruler of the universe. Human beings have limited power to create, to preserve, and to destroy. God is Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana, preponderance of Sattva quality. Human beings, Mulina Sattva Pradhana, their Sattva, that light, is covered with Rajas and Tamas, activity and darkness. So that light cannot come sufficiently. The word Ishvara, popularly known as God, has a peculiar meaning in Advaita philosophy. The non-dualist does not believe Ishvara to be the absolute existence because he has name and form. So he is unreal as the phenomenal universe. It sounds very strange. God is also unreal. Please remember, this God who they are talking about, it is Shagun Ishvara, God with name and form. The thing which has a name and form is subject to change. There is no exception to this rule. But Vedanta says Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, is unchanging reality, does not change. It is infinite, immutable, indestructible, imperishable. God is the ruler of all beings, all universe. He distributes the results of action. You may say, Swami, could you be a little specific? Look at the ocean. Think ocean as God. And the waves of the ocean are human beings. The waves are always connected with the ocean. Some waves are big, some waves are small. But all are connected with the ocean. So all beings are connected with that God, with that consciousness. Brahman associated with cosmic ignorance is called God or Ishvara. He is the highest manifestation of Brahman in the phenomenal universe. God is again both impersonal and personal. Impersonal means Brahman, who is not a person. And person means Shakti, the power of Brahman, endowed with power. God has that power. Creation, preservation, destruction, these are the powers of God. Sri Ramakrishna gave an example. When a person is without clothes, and that is attributes, we call him Brahman. Again, when he is with clothes, we call him God. God is both with form, and again he is formless, like ice and water. God takes form to show compassion to the devotees, to do good to humanity. Fire itself has no definite shape, but in glowing embers, it assumes certain forms. Now, it is a real mystery that how that infinite God takes a human form. That is the mystery. Krishna mentioned in the Gita, when religion declines, the religion prevails, I take a form out of my own Maya, just to do good to humanity. God incarnates to demonstrate to human beings how to practice religion. Once Swami Vivekananda was returning from Dakshineshwar with a devotee, seeing the galaxy, the Milky Way, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda said, look, there are so many worlds, so many universes, so many suns and moons in that galaxy you do not know. And God is the creator and preserver and destroyer of this galaxy and the cosmos. And human beings want to love God, want to realize God. He's so vast. How can an ordinary human being can establish relationship with God? You see, he was talking in this vein. And the devotee got dizzy. He was thinking, then there is no hope for me to realize God. 3 days, 3 nights he had no sleep. So he went to Girish Chandra Ghosh, another devotee, and he said to this devotee, what Vivekananda said is true. And again it is equally true that God comes as a human being to save sinners like me. it is also equally true. And that removed that worry from the devotee's mind. This type of a statement we find in the Bible also. We read in the Bible according to St. John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. That power, that Brahman, that infinite God, comes as a human being with flesh, and he lives with human beings, just like other human beings. God incarnates to fulfill the need of the age and help mankind to live in higher plane of consciousness. One day Ramakrishna was trying to explain this mysterious phenomenon of avatar, divine incarnation. Of the tree of Chetanananda grew innumerable fruits such as Rama, Krishna, Christ and others. One or two of them come down now and then to this world, and they work wonderful changes in they work wonderful changes in society. And he mentioned that it is the same God, same avatar, reincarnates again and again. As the same moon rises in the sky again and again, so in one place at a particular time, the same Godhead appears and declares himself as Krishna. In another place, in another time, same God incarnates and appears and declares himself as Christ. Avatar comes and calls his devotees and plays with them. He has all powers to fulfill the desires of human beings. He listens to our prayers, but necessarily he answers all of our prayers. It is good. If he answers all of our prayers, it would be a mess. Could you believe that, if whatever thoughts come to your mind, if all those thoughts be fulfilled, what would happen? The Vaishnava scripture says, people pray to God for various things. God listens to those prayers, but he answers those prayers which are good for that particular person. He does not pay attention to all his prayers. God is like a wise doctor. If you go to a doctor and if you tell him that I am suffering from pain, could you give me some potassium cyanide? The doctor knows it very well, this patient is going to kill himself. He wants to commit suicide. Being a wise doctor, I cannot prescribe cyanide. Similarly, when God listens to our prayers, he knows some of our things are dead poison. Those prayers may ruin our lives, so God does not answer those prayers. So when your prayers are not answered, don't be upset. Think that it is not good for you. In that connection, Ramakrishna told a beautiful parable. What God does is good for us. Sometimes we complain, but we shouldn't. Because he is Sarvagya Sarvavid, he is omniscient. He knows collectively, he knows individually. Then he told a parable. Once a young king had an old minister. Accidentally, one day the king cut his finger, and all people are sympathizing him. But the wise minister said, what God does is good for us. The king was very proud and very upset because he did not get any sympathetic words from the minister. He devised a plan to give a good lesson to the old minister. One day they planned to go for hunting, and he forced the minister also to go with him. the whole caravan entered the forest, and the minister and the king lost other people when they were chasing a deer. The young king was very hungry and thirsty. He asked the minister to bring some water. The minister went here and there and found a deep well and said, I found water, but I cannot get that water because it is in a well. It is in a well. So the king also went with him. When they came near the well, the king pushed that minister and threw him into the well. And it was very deep, and the minister was, was standing in the well. Luckily, it was not too deep, but he could not come out from the well. So the king said from above, what God does is good for us. Stay there and die. Nobody is coming to rescue you. In the meantime, a band of robbers were passing by. They found this young king and caught him, and they decided that they will sacrifice him to their deity, man sacrifice, because this king was their enemy. Then when they took according to their ritual, they took this young king for a bath, and the priest found that there is a cut mark in his finger, and a wounded person cannot be offered to the deity. So they gave him some kicks and asked him to get away. So this king's life was saved. He came near the well and said to the minister that, are you still there? Yes. He dropped his cloth and pulled him out from the well, and he said, you are right. I am extremely sorry. I apologize to you. What God does is good for us. Now I understand this wound of my fingers saved my life. Otherwise I would be beheaded tonight. So I apologize to you. The minister said, you did the right thing. What God does is good for us. If you would not push me into the well, I would be caught also, and they would not find any cut mark in my body, and they would behead me. So you did the right thing. I have no complaint that you did injustice to me. Sri Ramakrishna told this parable to his devotees, that if something happened, don't be upset. Perhaps you needed that one. God provides everything to his devotees. Krishna said in the Gita, those who meditate on me, think of me, worship me, I take care of their food, I take care of their necessity. All divine incarnations promised the same thing to their devotees. Now, sometimes we find God plays with his devotees in a mysterious way. As I told you, he is completely desireless. And he plays with his devotees through desires. He creates desires, and now you play. You have a home, now you are trying to get a car, you are trying to get a second home in Ozark. You see, in this way he is continuously creating desires, one after another. And he was playing with us. Have more desire, have more fun. See how much joy is there. Until and unless you are disgusted, he won't let us go. Vedanta scripture says, Ko duridra, yeshu trishna vishala. Who is poor? The person who has many desires. The Divine Mother is always playful and sportive, said Ramakrishna. This universe is her play. Bondage and liberation are both of her making. By her Maya, worldly people become entangled in lust and gold. And again, through her grace, they attain their liberation. The devotee, sir, if she likes, she can give us freedom to all. Why has she kept us bound to the world? Ramakrishna, that is her will. She wants to continue playing with her created beings. In a game of hide and seek, the running about soon stops if in the beginning, all the players touch. If in the beginning all the players touch Granny, if all touch her, how can the game go on? That displeases her. You see, God wants that play should continue. This is His Leela. This whole world is His playground, and we are all His playmates. We are all playing. You know, if you take this world in this way, a lot of worry, anxiety, pressure, tension will go away from you. It is just play. Don't take this world seriously. An old wise monk told a story to the devotees. God provided 20 years longevity to each being. Human beings are very unhappy. They went to God and said, 20 years is not sufficient for us in this world. Please make some extension. God said, you see, I cannot be impartial. I cannot be partial. I should be impartial. I shall give 20 years extension to all beings. So you take another 20. So the bull got 20 years, and bull said, 20 years quite sufficient for me. I pull the bullock cart and plow. It is quite sufficient. I don't want. If man wants, I am glad to give my 20 years to him. Man says, I am happy. Then the dog says, don't want 20 years more. 20 years quite sufficient for me. I like to give my 20 years to man. So man got dog's 20 years. Then the owl says, I do not see at daytime, only night time. I don't like those 20 years. I will be glad to give that thing to man. So man got 100 years from these three creatures. So truly speaking, human beings enjoy life up to 40 years. Next 20 years you carry the burden of your family. That is bull's 20 years, remember. And next 20 years, from 60 to 80, you always bark with your wife, when you are retired. You bark with your wife and children, and you want to control everybody. And children sometimes, Dad, why are you barking like a dog? Because that is dog's 20 years, you see. Then gradually after 80, sometimes you get cataract, you do not see well, and you are old, and you cannot get good sleep. That is owl's 20 years, you see. At that time you watch your son and grandchildren's property at night time, so that no thief can steal anything. So you see, God plays with us in this way. So when you seek anything from God, be careful. All the great teachers of the world teach us again and again what is good for us. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and everything shall be added unto you. Ask and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. These great teachings of Christ, Buddha, Krishna, Ramakrishna are good for mankind, but we don't listen to them. You see, Christ will not have to teach how to make a million. The Wall Street Journal, the paper of American Dream can serve that purpose, you see. As recently some news are going around about the evangelist Oral Robert. He will be dropped dead by 31st of March if he does not get $80 million. God will take him away. When I was reading that story, came to my mind about a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He was quite rich. He asked the master, "Master, I have money. I want to do some philanthropic activities." Sri Ramakrishna said, "My goodness, if God appears before you, will you tell him, God, build some hospitals and dig some wells and plant some trees and build some schools? If God appears before you, will you ask all these things?" That is the job of the city. That is the job of the mayor. Ask what is the only thing needful in your life. Our ears are trained to hear mundane things, so we don't listen to the message of the great teachers of the world. Krishna says, it is the great truth. Anittam asukam lokam imam pratya bhajasvamam. Listen, Arjuna, this world is not real, full of misery. So worship me. Fix your mind in me. Be devoted to me. Sacrifice to me. Love me. Having thus disciplined yourself and regarding me as the supreme God, you will come to me. That is the goal of human life, to reach God, to experience the self. We read in the life of Sri Ramakrishna that on the 1st of January 1886, he became wish-fulfilling tree. At the Kashipur Garden House. Touching the disciples, he proclaimed, "Be illumined." Chaitanya Hok. And they got illumination. They got ecstasy. Some asked for money and they became rich. Anyhow, when we read the life of Ramakrishna in the Gospel and in the Great Master, we see that Sri Ramakrishna was not Kalpataru, means wish-fulfilling tree only for that day. All through his life, he fulfilled the desires of the people. Ramakrishna had many disciples and they had many desires, and he played with them. Some sought worldly mundane things, some sought highest spiritual experience. He gave them. Mathur, the owner of the Kali temple, came to Sri Ramakrishna. "Master, my wife is about to dead. If my wife dies, I shall not be able to serve you, because I shall not be able to inherit the property of my mother-in-law. You will have to do something." The doctors lost all hope for my wife. Sri Ramakrishna looked at him and said, "Your wife will be cured." And he took his Mathur's wife's disease on himself and suffered from blood dysentery for 6 months. Mathur again came, "Father, I will have to go to jail." "Why?" "Well, I had my people, for the acquisition of a property, my people had a fight with another landlord and killed a person. So I ordered, to fight. So as a result, for that murder case, I will have to go to jail. You will have to do something for me." Sri Ramakrishna said, "You will do all type of, bad work, and you will come and please save me, save me. I cannot save you anymore. There is none in this world who can save me except you." I depend on you, Master. Please do something for me. Sri Ramakrishna in ecstatic mood said, by Mother's will it will be all right. It will be cleared up. And it was all right. One day Mathur came and said, Father, people are getting spiritual experiences by your blessing, by your grace. Why don't you give me a little spiritual experience, ecstasy? Well, you are all right, by serving me, you are doing a wonderful job. Why are you seeking for a spiritual experience? Oh no, I need that. All right, if it is Mother's will. Within a few days he got Samadhi. And he could not put his mind into work. His eyes became red. He was crying all the time. 3 days, 3 nights he had no sleep. He could not eat properly. Then Sri Ramakrishna, he called on Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna came and said, what is the matter? Father, you take back your Samadhi. It does not suit me. We only talk about it. It only suits you. You take back. You see, did I not tell you that don't ask those things from me? You will be in trouble. Sometimes if you live with a God-intoxicated person, you will imbibe his many qualities. Mathur went with Sri Ramakrishna for pilgrimage. While returning from pilgrimage, a lot of money was left over. You see, he was a very rich man. So he decided to distribute that money among the people. So he became like Kalpataru. He declared that whoever wants anything from me, I shall give. So he first came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, Father, please ask something from me. I have no wants. Please ask something. Well, if you really want to give me something, buy a water pot for me, which I use for cleaning my mouth, And Mathur burst into tears. I can give thousands of rupees. This person says, give me a few annas or few rupees water pot. A water jar. And that water jar is still in Belur monastery, which that man gave to Sri Ramakrishna. It is in our archives. Sri Ramakrishna's nephew, Hriday, was a very worldly person. He was a priest of the Kali temple. One day he requested Sri Ramakrishna, Uncle, you give so many spiritual experiences to your devotees, but I did not get anything. Please bless me so that I may attain Samadhi. Hey, you are serving me, that is enough. You don't need those things. All right, but when he insisted, all right, if it is Mother's will, by Mother's will means his will. You see, Ramakrishna's will and Mother's will became unified because he did not have any ego. It is the Divine Mother who walked through him. So, by Mother's will, Hriday got ecstasy, Samadhi, and one night was shouting, oh Ramakrishna, you and myself both are the same. Let us go and preach country to country. Sri Ramakrishna said, don't shout, temple people will know about it and you will be in deep trouble. So he was still shouting, so Sri Ramakrishna rubbed his chest and said, Mother, make this rascal dull. Make this rascal dull again. And he lost all his experience. Uncle, I lost everything. You serve me, that is enough. You don't need that ecstasy. You see, sometimes we seek something, we cannot digest it. Don't try to seek too much. Eat that much which you can digest. Hriday's mother, Ramakrishna's cousin, recognized Sri Ramakrishna's divinity and prayed to him, Brother, bless me so that I may die in Benares, a holy place. Sri Ramakrishna blessed her and said, yes, he will die in Benares. At that time, Sri Ramakrishna was a little boy. And that, whatever he said, that happened. Quite often we doubt ourselves, we doubt God, we ponder, does our prayer reach God? It is a very common question. We pray, does it reach God? Hajra, a neighbor of Sri Ramakrishna, was a very strange person, a hypocrite. Asked Sri Ramakrishna, does God have ears? I call him so much, but I don't get any response. Does he really listen to my prayers? Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, listen to the reason your prayer does not reach God. You are a son of a farmer. You have seen how the peasants irrigate their sugarcane fields, digging a channel from a reservoir. If there is any leak in the channel, how can one expect the water to reach the field? All the water in the reservoir can be pumped out and still the field will remain dry. Desires are like the holes of the channel. You practice japam and meditation, no doubt, but they all leak out through the holes of your desires. Your prayers will not reach God until your mind is free from worldly desires. It is a very clear statement of Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Shat Prakashananda used to tell a story which he heard directly from Swami Premananda. One day this Hajra was seated in the veranda and Swami Vivekananda was talking to him. Hajra said to Vivekananda, you boys are satisfied with the little fruits and sweets which Ramakrishna gives to you. You boys don't understand how much power Sri Ramakrishna has. Go and seek some power from him. You see, he wanted some occult powers. Sri Ramakrishna can give anything you like, you want. Please go demand something from him. And Sri Ramakrishna overheard that conversation from his room. He rushed to the door and said to Vivekananda, come out, come away from that man. He is polluting your mind. He is a beggar. He knows only how to beg. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, don't beg like a beggar. Whatever wealth I have belongs to you. Father's wealth goes to his children. Don't you know, when a beggar asks a coin from a rich man, and the rich man becomes disgusted and throws the coin to the beggar and says, get away, take this and get away. So don't seek that way. Sit, pray what is good for you. A young girl read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, where Sri Ramakrishna said, Bhagavan kan khorke shop shonen. God's ears are so powerful that even he can hear the footsteps of an ant. He listens to all prayers. You will not have to shout. He knows what is going on inside your heart. So that young girl read that part of the gospel and came to a monk and said, I prayed so much to Sri Ramakrishna for my father's recovery. My father died. I think Sri Ramakrishna does not answer, does not listen to my prayer, did not listen to my prayer. Then the monk looked at that girl and said, how old is your father? Oh, he was in his 80s and quite old, and he was sick for a long time. Do you know what was your father's prayer? Your father was perhaps praying to God, take away soon. I cannot bear so much pain in my life, Lord. So God answers your father's prayer, not yours. Sometimes God plays in a mysterious way, you know. There is a beautiful story in the Bhagavatam. King Ambarisha had a daughter named Srimati, who was very beautiful. Now two sages, Narada and Parvat, fell in love with that princess. And in India, it is common that a princess should have a Swayamvara. Swayamvara means she will choose her own groom. There will be an invitation to many princes of kings of different countries. They will assemble. Then the princess will come with a garland in her hand, and whom she will choose, she will put that garland to that groom. So many distinguished people, they heard about this princess, so they came to marry her. And Narada went to Vishnu, the great God, and said, Lord, if Parvat is going there in that bridal selection ceremony, that bridegroom selection ceremony, I am also going there. I want to marry that girl. Please make my friend Parvat face like a monkey face, so that when that girl will come, we'll see a monkey. Vishnu nodded his head, yes, your prayer is answered. Then in the meantime, Parvat also secretly went to Vishnu and said, Lord, when you see I want to marry that girl, when Narada is planning to marry her, so you please, when Narada comes to that court, you make his face like a chimpanzee face. So God nodded his head, all right, your prayer is answered. Both came to that court, and the bride came with her garland and found one chimpanzee and one monkey. Both are standing in the court. She did not put garland any one of them. She returned to her own room. You see, God saved both lives, you see. That I was thinking. God saved both from the Maya so that they will not be trapped. Sometimes, God plays in a mysterious way. God answers those prayers which are good for our souls and not for the gratification of our senses. I was visiting a Swami. His disciple was going to be a young mother. She was very happy, The Swami was telling me, this girl is so happy because she is going to be a mother. But do you know what I see in her? And what do you see? I see her next 18 years. That she won't be able to concentrate on God. She will be busy with her child, the teenagers, and school, college, food, clothing, this, that problem. I am seeing her next 18 years. She will be bound. But if they are not bound, there will be no children. God plays in a mysterious way. Once Girish Chandra Ghosh, a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, was suffering from asthma. He said, do you think I cannot cure my disease? If I tell this Sri Ramakrishna, he will cure my disease right now. Then he says, do you think I cannot get rid of this ordinary disease? I can prove it to you. If I roll on the ground of the Panchavati at Dakshineshwar and forcefully pray to the Master, this disease will go away. But I know the Master is all merciful. It is His will that I am undergoing this disease, grief, pain and suffering. Everything is for my good. This feeling by His grace is so strong in my mind that I have no inclination to pray that my disease be cured. Sri Ramakrishna is a wish-fulfilling tree. Whenever I have prayed for anything, I have gotten it. You see, the prayer of a sincere soul has never been unanswered. It will be answered. Four types of people pray to God, says Krishna in the Gita. First, Artho, the afflicted ones. Jignasu, the seeker for knowledge. Artharthi, the seeker for happiness, money, wealth, property. Jnani, the seeker of discrimination, the seeker of wisdom. These four people, all four are good because they are uniting themselves with God through prayer. But the lover, the seeker of wisdom, is the highest because he wants to love God. Sri Ramakrishna cautioned his devotees about prayer because it can be injurious, it can be a boomerang. In that connection he told that parable. A traveler was passing through a desert and he was dead tired. He lay down under a tree. It was a wish-fulfilling tree. And he was thinking, if I am tired, if somebody could give me some food and drink. Immediately food and drink came to that person. If I am tired, my feet are aching. If a young girl gives me a little massage, a young girl came and gave him a little massage. And he was thinking, well, oh, how happy I am. If a tiger comes and ruins my happiness right now, a tiger came and ate him up. Sri Ramakrishna said, look, God is the wish-fulfilling tree, Kalpataru. Whatever you will pray, it will come to you. But you must have wisdom, you must have discrimination before you pray anything. He continued, such is the fate of men in general. If during your meditation you pray for men or money or worldly honors, your desires are no doubt satisfied to some extent. But mind, there is the dread of the tiger hidden behind the gifts you get. Those tigers, disease, grief, loss of honor and wealth, etc., are 1,000 times more terrible than the live tigers. Sometimes we ask most insignificant things from God. Lord, may my car get a start in winter time. May I never have a flat tire. May I get a good parking place. The Cardinal fans are praying, may our Red Birds win the world game, you see, World Series. Swamiji told a funny story about this prayer, how people sometimes pray. A couple had flat noses, very ugly looking people, and they got 3 boons from God. So the husband and wife, they are talking. The wife said, right now, let us make some money. Have wealth first. Wives and the husband said, no, we look ugly. We cannot show our faces to the society. We must have beautiful noses. So all right, the first boon they cast that, Lord, give us beautiful noses. So all over their bodies, are full of noses. Then they are in trouble. They are thinking what to do. Then they have again discussion and they said, what to do. Then say, Lord, take away of all of our noses. So all noses are gone, even their original ones. So they are thinking what to do. Wife says, right now seek some money. Well, no, it's money, people will think that how did you get money? If they hear the whole story, they will think that we are stupid. Then he said, Lord, please give back our original noses. So they got their original noses. So they got 3 boons but could not use it because of their foolishness. Sometimes, we pray at random so many things. We do not know really what to pray, how to pray. Some seek a good job, raise his salary, promotion, good husband, beautiful wife, lottery money. They want to win in the lawsuit, cure disease, Lord. Let me have power over the people. A doctor's wife came to Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna's wife. Mother, bless me so that my husband can make more money. Well, I cannot give you that blessing, my child. Your husband's wealth depends upon the suffering and disease of my innumerable children. My other children will suffer and your husband will get a lot of money. I cannot give you that blessing. One day devotee came to Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar, and it was late night. While returning to Calcutta, he got a share carriage. And with a little, money, he returned to Calcutta. Next time when he met Sri Ramakrishna, he said, Master, Sri Ramakrishna said, how did you return home that night? Master, by your grace, those who come to you, everything becomes favorable. By your grace, I got a share carriage. You are like a pumpkin and eggplant customer. Do you think God gives only a little share carriage? When Sri Ramakrishna meant that don't be mean-minded, don't seek that a little comfort, a little convenience from God. He can give anything you like. Is God's power limited to cure a disease or to give you a little convenient, parking place? You get what you seek. God is like the Kalpataru, a wish-fulfilling tree. Then he used to sing a song to his devotees. Come, let us go for a walk, O mind, to Kali, the wish-fulfilling tree, and there beneath it gather the 4 fruits of life. Whatever you ask, you will get from God. But your prayer must be sincere. Swami Vivekananda came to Sri Ramakrishna. He was passing through a very bad time. They did not have money. His mother and brothers are starving. His one sister committed suicide. Sri Ramakrishna said, then he came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, the Divine Mother listens to your prayer. Why don't you pray for me? Sri Ramakrishna said, I cannot pray any worldly things from the Mother. You do not believe in my Mother, so you have this suffering. Today is a Saturday. In the evening, you go to my Mother, and whatever you ask, she will give it to you. He was very hopeful. In the evening, when he went to the temple and prayed, Mother, give me discrimination, dispassion, devotion, and uninterrupted vision. I don't want anything else. 3 times Sri Ramakrishna sent him to the Mother's temple, and 3 times he failed to pray for money. Sri Ram at last he said, I think, sir, you will have to do something for me. I failed. Seeing the face of the Mother, I forgot to ask worldly things. I felt that am I so mean that I shall ask these petty things from God? You do something for me. All right, by the grace of the Mother, your family will never suffer from food and plain clothing. And actually that prayer was sanctioned. The Maharaja of Khetri used to give 250 rupees to Swamiji's mother. Pension at that time. Some American devotees also helped Swamiji's mother. By Ramakrishna's blessing. It never fails. Ramchandra Datta came to Sri Ramakrishna. Sir, I am passing through a very dry period, which is a very common thing in spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna said, what can I do? It all depends on the will of God. Sir, all these days I have been looking to you for help. Now if you treat me like this, where shall I go? I don't owe you anything. If you like, you may come. If not, don't. Ramdatta was broken-hearted. He was thinking, shall I be drowned into the Ganges? Shall I kill myself? Then he said, no, I heard Lord's name is more powerful than anything. So I shall go and repeat my mantra. So he started to repeat mantram. At midnight, Sri Ramakrishna went to him and said, "Don't worry, you will get everything you want." Then on another occasion said, "What do you want? Look." Immediately he took his divine form, which was the chosen deity of Ramchandra Datta. You do not need to practice any more spiritual disciplines. Just come here and see me now and then, and bring with you a pice worth of something as a present. His life was fulfilled forever. His dryness left him forever. All through his life, he was in exuberant, ecstatic mood. With that one blessing, what do you want? He felt that he was Kalpataru. He can give anything you want in this world. Sri Ramakrishna prayed, "Mother, may those who come to you have all their desires fulfilled. But please don't make them give up everything at once, Mother. If you keep them in the world, Mother, then please reveal yourself to them now and then. Otherwise, how will they live? How will they be encouraged if they don't see you once in a while? But you may do whatever you like in the end, Mother." This prayer he made for his devotees. Then one day while talking with M. Sri Ramakrishna said, "You know, during the time of my sadhana, whatever desire arose in my mind would come to pass." M asked her, did it ever happen that you thought something and did not fulfill, or it did not fructify, or did not come to pass? It never happened. Then he continued, "I planted a tulsi grove in the Panchavati in order to practice japam and meditation. I wanted very much to fence it around with bamboo sticks. Soon afterwards, a bundle of bamboo sticks and some string were carried by the flat tide of the Ganga right in front of the Panchavati. A temple servant noticed that and joyfully told me." Sri Ramakrishna sometimes used to evaluate his divinity through his disciples. He asked them, "Well, do you find me to be like ordinary, anybody else? Like any other Paramahansa?" "No, sir. No, sir, you cannot be compared to anybody else. Have you heard of a tree called the Achina?" Means unrecognizable tree. A mystical tree. "No, sir. There is a tree called by that name, but nobody knows what it is." M. "Likewise, it is not possible to recognize you. The more a man understands you, the more uplifted he will be." Sri Ramakrishna is that Achin Gach, that unrecognizable tree. The mysterious wish-fulfilling tree. He blessed to his devotees, saying, "Chaitanya Hok, be illumined." That is a great blessing one can think of. He did not say that, be rich, have money, have these things. He gave to humanity what is good for humanity. Thank you. Murta samadhiriva rupavati daiva drishya pramodaiva savayava sudeva dharmar bapur dharaiva pratirangir shrutirangiriniva moksho ghanaitaiva tamaho vivasi Sri Ramakrishna tava padajugabhimarsha buddha kritopi pulakadgama atanuti साक्षात्करेण भीतस्तु तदीयमार्ष कम प्रदास्यति विकारमहं न जाने. O Ramakrishna, thou shinest indeed as an embodiment of samadhi, mercy, bliss, sweetness, righteousness, wisdom and liberation. O Lord, the contact of thy feet, even in thought, creates in me joy, accompanied by goosebumps. I don't know what a variety of spiritual experiences will rise in me if thou dost bless me with the actual touch of thy hands. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.